thank you very much for joining us this evening in a really fantastic location. I would like to introduce Grant Wright. Grant is the Managing Director of HIP Entertainment, which is why we're here this evening, to hear about HIP Entertainment, how it's developing and where it's going.
Good evening everybody, and thank you for coming. I'm going to talk to you about Everyone Entertained. I have been in the leisure industry for 30 years. I started as a lifeguard, but went on to slightly grander things. I am the MD of World of Golf, if you know that, on the A3. I was the person who brought all the dinosaur adventure golfs to the UK. I built quite a lot of those. And prior to that, I was the MD of David Lloyd Europe. I also have specialised in new openings, with £500 million worth of new facilities opened. The rest of the team, David Dean is our commercial director. He comes from a background in Disney and consultancy with some of the large leisure brands, as you see. Simon Burridge is our finance director. Jonathan Sutton is our property director. And I'm delighted to announce we've just agreed that Caroline Kitcher, who's the group HR director of TUI, has agreed to be our non-exec HR director. So all these people, they're busy delivering. So the leisure market, as James said, is in very good health. £117 billion, growing faster than GDP. And our product is based on these three key bits of insight. In sort of reverse order, the fact, if you ask a family, sit them down at a table on a Sunday and say, what will we do today? What you actually end up with is an argument. The chances of children agreeing on something to do is almost nil. The difference in age between the children is directly proportional to how vociferous the argument is and how long it lasts for. And you end up coming back to do something that's a bit bland that no one particularly wanted to do in the first place. Deloitte said that their key insight was that people are moving from buying things to doing things. Quite sadly, it's because they want to take a selfie, but that's what they want to do. And to say, look, we're an active family, we're doing things together, we're active people. And Mintel was about mainly mums wanting the family to do something together that was away from a screen of whatever form that screen was. The opportunity, Everyone Entertained, is about bringing people together to have some fabulous experiences. The experiences are all sorts of different things, but it's all under one roof. And one of the key concepts of it is together together and together apart. So you can come together as a family and you could stay together if you wanted and do the same activities, but you can also go your disparate ways, do things that you really, really want to do, some shared, some not, and come back together at the end of the day in Costa. And everybody is doing something that they really want to do. One of my former colleagues in David Lloyd has gone out to New Zealand and has built one called Motion Entertainment. Motion Entertainment has been an enormous success in Rotorua, and for those of you who know, that's not a mecca of leisure by any stretch of the imagination. But it has had phenomenal results in its first year, and it's a very similar concept to what we're doing. We've worked quite hard on the branding, and I'll come on to the research that we've done, but as you see here, our logo and the brand, Everyone Entertained. The activities that we have, well, it wouldn't be me unless we did adventure golf. I am Europe's largest importer of animatronic dinosaurs, and I firmly intend to maintain my mantle with that. So, adventure golf is a truly brilliant product. We did the first one in the UK at New Malden, and there were many, many doubters, but this is something from 3-year-old to 103-year-olds can have a good time together. It's soft competition, and people come back again and again and again. Ours are done with waterfalls. It's like a small slice of Florida plonked into the UK. And every one we've done, we have built 10 of them, have been hugely successful. So an indoor one of those, our virtual reality is a simulator. For those of you who've been to Disney, the Star Tours simulator, it's that exact simulator. But again, reflecting the disparate groups of people we have coming through the day, we start in the earlier parts of the day with young children being flown through a chocolate factory. So we simulate a chocolate factory. Through to some of the rides later on in the day, there's a dinosaur one, there is a space-themed one, there's all sorts of different things. For those people who've done a Go Ape is a fantastic product, but the one thing that really frustrates people is if you're very good at doing this sort of thing, and you're behind somebody who's a little bit nervous, you're stuck at their speed. On the Aerial Adventure product that we use, which is an American product, you're free to roam. And every level you go up, it gets more difficult. So it starts on something that's fairly solid, slightly wobbly, but as you go up further and further levels, at the topmost level, there's one of the obstacles is literally just a tightrope. So this allows you, in perfect safety, to have a soft adventure experience, and families can do it together, children of all sorts of different ages. And what we've done is we have the large format one, which is really from ages 6 and up, but we also have one for very young people as well. They have a zip wire on them, and I say we operate one of these already on the North Circular. It is a fantastic product. Our soft play, targeted at younger ones, it has 2 parts to it. One is we have a new Chinese product, which is a large format building bricks. And with this, children can use their own creativity, family could sit and play together. You can build a house that you can sit inside in about 20 minutes, and it's fairly indestructible. The soft play that this sits in the same area as, this is not to be thought of as the one you see tucked away in the corner of a pub. This is an 8,000 square feet large format play centre where it's all about getting children active, it's testing their balance, it's getting them running around, and the whole thing has been designed to really allow children to play with their own age group, but to discover things as well. There's lots of cooperative things, so it's educational, it's cooperative, and it certainly keeps them tired out. The LaserQuest is an extremely established product. Modern technology is allowing it to really improve the offering, and we are working with the supplier of this to both augmented and virtual reality. So again, if you think with what our brand has, of people doing things together, collaboratively, they're very, very active when they're doing it, and we can turn this into a quite amazing experience. So the theming company doing this for us are the one from Florida, and it is not to be confused with some of the more limited ones you see. The next one does take a little bit of explaining. Escape rooms have become huge in the UK. Typically, it's a fairly small room that 4 people are locked into, and you have an hour to escape. And they're heavily themed. It's a great product. But the problem with that is, with the sort of level of throughput that we're looking at, it doesn't really cut it for us. We worked out at one point we'd need 20 of them to make that work. So we have developed a sequential escape room. So ours is themed around a railway station and a railway carriage, with a joining bit where you're actually in an underground mine, with 12 different puzzles that you have 2.5 minutes to solve. So it's a little bit of a combination of the Crystal Maze and an escape room. But the computer is monitoring your progress, knows what you're scoring, and at the end of that you will see how well you've done. But people, again, will have to work together, and we can make it more or less difficult, and we can also make sure the experience is not repeated for the next time that you come. Clip and Climb is a fabulous New Zealand product. The problem, having operated many climbing walls, the problem with those is they're very rapidly taken over by fairly elite blokes in lycra with a chalk bag, and no one else will ever go near it. Clip and Climb is turning that model completely in its head, and it's all about fun. So these are brightly coloured, different themed obstacles for people to climb. At the most simple, it's a large sheet of perspex, and 2 people from a family or 2 friends are going up the opposite sides of that piece of perspex as fast as they possibly can. There's one of them which is a filling pipe, and you're trying to beat the pipe. There are the large balls. There is wobbly poles that people are climbing up, but all of it testing balance, stamina, flexibility, and people are doing each of the challenges and then moving on to one that suits them. This product, children of 4 years old can use this product. It's fantastic, and when we've been doing the research, it has been the most popular of our bits and pieces. Sega have also risen to the challenge. What we challenged Sega with was coming up with things that were active. So all of the activities in ours, people are actually doing things. So there's the endless basketball, there's the themed whack-a-mole where you're hammering things down as they come up, there is the air hockey, there's all those sorts of things that you can play together as a family. Sega have tried really hard with this, and we're delighted with what they've come up with. And the way it works, people are getting 12 tokens, so you have a known spend in this area. And again, families are doing things together, friends are doing things together. After all of that, people deserve to chill out a little bit, and we have a Costa coffee. I'm a Costa franchisee. I'm a big fan of the Costa brand, and it fits really nicely with what we're trying to do. The thing that makes us quite unique is how we price all of this. So each individual activity is £7. We expect most people, though, to go for a 5-pass of activity, which is £25. That, I believe, and everyone we have surveyed believes, is extraordinary value for money, because it's totally flexible. If you are wealthier, you have 2 children, and you don't want to get involved, you could spend £50 and both of your children are doing 5 different activities, and that's a fantastic morning out. If, on the other hand, you're a family on a very tight budget, you can come and for £25, both children can do 2 activities, and then you could possibly go on the Sega arcade, and as a family you're doing some things together, and you've had a really great day out. Also, we're allowing people to they can do 3 activities on a day, and they can save 2 over for another day. So this thing of having all the different activities, all planned on the ticketing system that's used by Merlin and by Disney, allows people to plan their day and to have the activities that every member of their family want to do. Some together, but not necessarily so. And this pricing is the really big difference. The all-inclusive pass, when we have been doing the research, that is the thing that has just been incredibly positive with people. And the freedom that it gives people to do things that they want to do. The atmosphere in the centre is critical, and at 7 o'clock we reinvent ourselves. If we just did this for families, I firmly believe this would be a hugely successful product. But we want to do more than that. So at 7 o'clock the atmosphere changes, the lighting changes, the music changes, and a bar which had previously been completely hidden away opens up, and we move to a different market. So through our different day parts, during term time we have mums with preschool children are a key group for us. Post-school we have teenagers, people coming without their parents. We have, later on in the evening, we have adult friends and couples. But always our key market is families, and increasingly, and especially in urban centres, grandparents are heavily involved in childcare, and they like this too, as long as we have a quieter area of Costa. To test all of this, we've just finished some fairly intensive research. We did all sorts of different groups themed around parents with children under 8, those with teenagers, and older adults, young adults as well, in different locations. And I mean, there's lots of points here on the research, but the overwhelming thing is the director of the research company, in 30 years of doing research, had never seen such a positive response. So what people absolutely loved about this was they all identified with the story of what you do on a Sunday when you say, what will we do today? They understood that you have an argument. And this thing of being able to do different things was a very powerful message. Being able to do different things with a known price and maintaining that flexibility went down extraordinarily well. The different parts of it, of the activities themselves, people gave us great feedback on, particularly parents who are trying to get older children and teenagers away from a screen. The thought of doing something together as a family was hugely positive. But also when we then checked separately with those young adults and older teenagers, they liked this as well. But, some of the quotes that you see there are extremely positive, and we were delighted with it. We gave them free rein to discuss the product, but once it was fully explained, there was not one negative comment. The brand proposition, it's that thing of lots to do under one roof, and it's fun, but with a known cost and total flexibility for how you use the product. The marketplace for us, families will always remain our key market, but to turn this from a good product into something that is really, really outstanding. It is those other markets of teenagers, young adults, older people, grandparents, and then mothers of children under 5. And we've been working very hard to make sure all of the branding doesn't alienate any of those groups. It's inclusive and makes everyone feel that this is a place where they belong and that they enjoy themselves. The way to launch a site, nowadays it's almost entirely done digitally, through Facebook, through Google. About 90% of the marketing I spend on leisure is done through just those two environments, and we would do exactly the same with this. From a property front, our plan is to do 12 sites in 5 to 6 years. The strategy is 1 site in year 1, 1 in year 2, then 2 in the next 2 years, and 3 in years 5 and 6, giving 12 sites. The good news is once land or a building has been designated for leisure, it's almost impossible to get that changed, and there are not many big box leisure takers at the moment. So we've been able to source quite a lot of high quality leisure facilities which are either unoccupied or land that's designated for leisure, which goes at a fraction of the cost of if it had been designated obviously for housing, but for retail or other things. And almost daily, with things that are very sad news for some people, the Toys R Us story, are opportunities for us because we are essentially a big box. And all of these are based on user numbers of about 220,000. And as I mentioned earlier, the site in New Zealand in Rotorua, in its first year, it did 570,000 visitors. So nearly 3 times what we are proposing to do. And every 50,000 extra visitors gives us £1 million of extra revenue. So the sensitivity on this is nice. It works very well at those lower levels of usage, but when you get into the higher usage that we see of models like this in America and in New Zealand, it becomes a truly exceptional business and a truly exceptional investment.